What's up? It's been a while. It has been a while. This is the office. We've done the office. There's been a lot going on. I'll be honest with you guys, I've been a little bit sloppy on the YouTube front. There's no excuse for it. There is no excuse for it. However, we are back with the much awaited prep series. This is what all the work for over the last 3.5 odd years has been towards. You know, my step up from a men's physique athlete into a classic bodybuilder. And this is what I've been working so hard for. And you know, ultimately, I want to bring you a series here which tries to just give you some transparency. Transparency. There's the first bit of transparency, because we're not going to cut that. We're just going to leave that in. We're going to let it run. And those of you who follow my YouTube already know that I do trip up on words from time to time, and I like to just leave that in there so you can see how difficult it is to navigate through my own head on a day-to-day basis. But yeah, this is the series, guys. I'm going to try and give you one episode a week. And I am going to give you one episode a week. I'm going to commit to that. We're in the early stages. We're 19 weeks out from my first classic bodybuilding show. I started prep a couple of weeks ago. I've been just getting things into place, and now we're very much in a great place. We ran into a few issues at first. A lot of that would have been down just to pushing for a long period of time, you know, and I'll tuck into that in a minute. I'm going to talk about, you've seen the caption, 70 pounds up. That's a big jump in scale weight. I'm going to talk to you guys about, you know, how realistically, how it was. You know, obviously we ran into certain, you know, obstacles, how I overcame them, what I had to do initially to set myself up for that push, you know, and just the struggles along the way, because there were a few. And towards the latter stages of this push, you know, it has got pretty difficult, and I just want to give you a bit of a rundown on how we got there and how it's been my most successful muscle building phase to date. So they're transitioning into a classic bodybuilder, 19 weeks out. And yeah, we're calling this the comeback. And just to kind of coincide with my normal trend, it's a bit dramatic, but I feel like this is a comeback, guys. I really do. You know, from a personal perspective, I've taken a long period of time away from the stage. I never really thought I would have or need that long away from the stage. You know, when I stepped off stage in my last competitive show, which was men's physique, UK BFF, I thought they were shit. British finals, I came top 10. I wasn't happy with the top 10. You know, it was out of about 45, 50 competitors. So in hindsight, it wasn't terrible. But I just wasn't happy with the placings I was getting. I was getting third places, I was getting top 10s, top 6s, and I knew I wanted more out of the sport. So I decided to take an off season. I knew it was going to be a minimum of a year, but I probably would lean towards a couple of years. And then sort of somewhere along the way, I had the confidence to think, actually, let's just go and take this straight to bodybuilding. You know, I knew that eventually I wanted to be a bodybuilder, but I'll be honest with you guys, I'll be open with you, I never really had the confidence. I didn't think I could be that big. And somewhere down the line, I decided, actually, let's go for this. So I think that's why it was an extended period of time away from stage. But yeah, 4 years away. By the time I step on stage in July, it will be nearly 4 years away from the stage. You know, since that last show I done, I'm a completely different person, you know, not just kind of with regards to my own knowledge on my training, but my clients, my business, my life. You know, I've got married, I've bought a house, I've grown my business, I've gone full-time online. I feel like so much has happened, and mentally, in terms of, without getting too hippie on you guys, my beliefs and my morals and, you know, my values, I've changed so much as a person. So I'm really looking forward to doing this prep, just being this different person I am now to what I was back then. And that's why I'm calling this the comeback, because I really do feel like it's a comeback. So hopefully we deliver. We're 19 weeks out, hoping to drag you guys along this journey with me, and hopefully I can give you some insight, hopefully a bit of entertainment. And as always, you know my trend, guys, I'll keep it fun. I'll keep it enjoyable up until about 4 or 5 weeks out, when I'm gonna be a miserable bastard. But I'll do my best. So yeah, join me on this journey. It's the comeback, guys. Let's go. So, where did we start? Off after getting off the stage UK BFF, obviously I decided to transition into a gaining phase. I then spent a good period of time going into a gaining phase, and I'll put the image up, either there, or maybe there. I'll just cover all angles. I'll put the image up of my last show and the condition I bought, and I thought the condition was pretty decent. Condition's never been an issue. I'm gonna need to be leaner for classic, but I just wasn't happy with the size. I quite like the balance, but I just wanted to get more size on the frame. So we went into an off-season phase. My last stage weight was 78 kilos. We then pushed the off-season pretty aggressively. I went uncoached for a good period of time. I would say, and these are rough figures, but I would say from getting off stage October or September 2017 up until about mid 2018, I went uncoached. Then I signed up with a coach. It wasn't the coach I'm currently with. And at this point in time, I was having a few digestive issues. Now, again, complete transparency. I was potentially just eating a little bit too much that I didn't need. Potentially too many carbohydrates. And I went on board with a coach, and we really pushed my food intake up, and was having a few issues, just lethargy and dizziness and things like that. And those from Instagram who have followed me for a while will know all about this. I was very, very open and honest about the issues I was having. I had a call with Dean, Dr. Dean, who I talked to about everything. He's the person that I will refer, or my coach now will refer me to if we have any issues. And long story short, we basically established that I was having a bit of an issue with insulin. So obviously the endogenous insulin that your pancreas creates. And we just basically come to the conclusion that I just don't genetically manage carbohydrates very well. And obviously, for an individual who's trying to push food, push scale weight and get muscle mass on, carbohydrates in the form of glycogen are going to be one of the best fuel sources. So it was a bit of a hiccup. Now, we had to then go on a dieting phase. So I was floating around 86, 87 kilos at this point when, health wasn't in a fantastic place. Basically, we highlighted that the issues were here. And the reason I knew issues were there because I was feeling very dizzy in my training sessions and massive recovery times between big sets and things like that. And I just knew it wasn't normal. We'd done some blood sugar readings and I was scoring well up in the high 6s, some mornings even 7. So, if I was to go to a doctor, that would have been classed as potentially pre-diabetes. So we looked at, right, what can we do to now reverse this? So we went on a big dieting phase, which lasted 6-7 months. It was an extended dieting phase, but it's what my body needed. And I'll show you the pictures of the beginning of that dieting phase when I was 86 kilos. And I'll put up a picture of the end, sort of when I pulled myself right down. We got me down to 75 kilos, which is the lightest I've been in a long, long time. I remember feeling very, very good. Obviously hungry, but just sharp between the ears. Training performance was great. Recovery was great. As you can see, I lost a bit of tissue in that process, and I certainly wasn't looking like a bodybuilder at that point in time. So then, obviously forgot to mention, started working on board with my coach, Callum Raystrick, Callum from the Muscle Mentors, who's been fantastic. I sing his praises all the time. I've been with him for about 2.5 years now. Obviously started with him. He was the one who noticed the issues. We began the dieting phase. We ran a course of supplementation, which helped basically get me more reactive and sensitive to insulin. So we done that by running very high fats, low carbohydrates just around the training window, and pulled me right down, got me lean, got me sensitive to insulin again. We done fast, impactive cardio, basically hit on a spin bike. And long story short, without boring you with the science, that just got my body more responsive to insulin. Got my pancreas fired up again. My fasted insulin was down again. We've done a lot of blood tests through this period, and we just got me in a very, very healthy position. The reason why this has been such a successful gaining phase is purely down to the fact that we established such a strong set point. So 75, 76 kilos, which you can see the images. From there, we then looked to enter the gaining phase, which originally was going to set me up to compete for a men's physique show in about a year, 18 months. We got to about halfway through. Again, I'll just keep popping some images up here and there so you can see kind of the transformation, if you like. And tissue was coming down fast, guys. I'll be honest with you. I had a lot of people sort of message me, what's going on? How have you managed to gain this much tissue in this short period of time? And for me, it added a massive string to my coaching bow as well, because it made me understand the importance of not just going straight into a muscle building phase, but setting the body up right. Putting the body in a position where it can partition nutrients, you're hungry, appetite's in a good place, metabolism starts to increase as you increase food. And you just keep rinsing and repeating the process of drip feeding more food in, increasing training performance, and we just kept rinsing that process. There was no rush. In fact, for months and months, we only gained like 5, 6, 7 kilos. I know that I went from that 75 kilo set point to about 83, 84 kilos, and that the difference was massive. You can see on screen now the difference between those two images. It looks like more than 5, 6 kilos. It looks like 20, 25 pounds. But the reason those pictures look so dramatic is because most of that's tissue. There's a very small amount of body fat there. So we just slowly crept things up. I remember scale weight going up very slowly, but the look improving drastically. Again, another coaching string to the bow. The importance of creeping up and not ruining digestion, ruining your appetite, ruining your ability to partition nutrients too early is absolutely paramount. And we just kept rinsing that process, guys, and muscle just come on thick and fast. And we got to a point where we decided between me and Carl that potentially we can just go straight into classic. you know, we would need another year off. You know, we kind of encountered COVID around that time as well. So it was an opportunity just to take another year off away from the stage and just keep gaining. We certainly did at some point around summer last year where appetite had gone and it was starting to become a bit of a struggle. And this is where I'll be really open and transparent and not tell you that it was great and we just carried on gaining. And, you know, we got to a point where the day-to-day was bloody hard work. You know, I remember at points I would sleep in until like 8:30, 9 a.m. in the mornings, just knackered. And, you know, I'd be up until midnight at night trying to get that last meal in. I'd be slow. I'd have to get Kirsty to go up the stairs to grab me something because going up the stairs was just hard work. Resting heart rate was 80 beats per minute. Going on walks, I was kind of basically doing cardiovascular work, just going on a dog walk. I remember the worst it got, I was walking around our local park, the Abbey Gardens, and I'd have to stop every 5 minutes to sit down because my back was hurting from water pumps, you know, lower back pumps. I just felt unfit, and I just remember at that point feeling like, this is pretty shit. This is pretty shit, but we carried on pushing because I was strong. You know, I was the strongest I've ever been. You know, scale weight increases were coming, muscle tissue was being laid down, and if you can remain uncomfortable, but muscle's still going down, this is, I don't like to call it the sweet spot, and I'm very much against saying that you have to get fat to accrue tissue, because you don't. But we kept pushing, and I potentially put on a little bit too much body fat that I maybe should have, but it was relative to the goal. You know, I knew that I needed a lot of tissue to be competitive in bodybuilding. I'm not going to be up against big guys. So ultimately we just kept pushing. We didn't recomp. We looked at the show dates this year and we knew that if we recomped, we were just going to lose time where we could just keep laying down tissue. So we kept going, and I'll ping a few photos up. I'll show you me at my heaviest. And this is how far I've had to take things. You know, I'm 15, 16 pounds down from the start point. I'll do a physique update very, very soon. I'll start talking you through the dieting process, but just to kind of recap this off season, guys, you know, it's been 3.5 years. It's been up and down. We've encountered a few things which we've had to overcome. It's not been easy, but it's taught me a lot. You know, I've learned a lot about my body, but I've also learned a lot as a coach. You know, I think to be a good coach, you've got to experience things yourself. And this growing phase, I've definitely experienced a lot. And yes, we potentially sacrificed, you know, condition. We potentially sacrificed a few health markers at some points, and we definitely sacrificed digestion. You know, I am paying a little bit now. The first couple of weeks of this prep has been a little bit difficult. We've had to pull protein down a little bit. We've had to add a few supplements and just aid the gut a little bit because it has taken a bit of a whack. You know, things are in a good place now, but initially it was a little bit difficult, and that's the price we've paid. You know, that's kind of the cut-off point, the decision we've had to make, and it's all relative to the goal. From my last competition, we weren't talking about needing 5 or 6 pounds to be competitive in bodybuilding. You know, we needed 20 pounds, and I'm excited to see how much of this weight is tissue. I know not 70 pounds is tissue. I know not 50 pounds is tissue, but you know, I've got a strong feeling that a good 20 pounds has been laid down, and we'll see as we reach each set point. We can compare it to previous set points and body compositions, and we can see what we've established. But as for the gaining phase, that's it, guys. And to be honest with you, just to kind of recap the whole thing, the whole time throughout this phase, I've had 3 different training programs. And I'm not talking about the 3.5 years. I'm talking about from the point we established at 75 kilos, if you remember that point, all the way up until peak off season. I think we had 3 plans, and each time we changed the plan, we didn't even change the whole plan. We'd speak between me and Cal, we'd decide which movements are working, which aren't, and we would just pull out a few movements and replace them for a few novel stimuli. And that's how you need to grow, guys. And if I can just give anyone one piece of advice, it's obviously eat, but on top of that, I know it's 2 pieces of advice, but on top of that, it's to find exercises that you can connect with, establish and integrate those movement patterns, and just run with that for a long period of time. You know, too many people just want to swap and change between training programs too quick. You know, and I need to shock the system. I need to, 3-4 weeks down the line, I need to shock the body. I need to do this. I need to do German volume training, triple drop set, backflip, bloody frustrates me. The best thing you can do to accrue tissue is to find what works, find movements you can lock into for your chest, for your delts, for your lats, for your legs, and just stick with those and just progressively rinse them for everything they've got. We kept RDLs in my plan for 2 years. I just kept getting stronger at them. And over the period of however long this gaining phase has been, we've taken my RDLs from 130 kilos to 210 kilos at my peak strength. Those kind of progressions will show themselves in your back shots. A lot of that's down to hip hinges. Pick movements, get strong, be patient. You know, the guys I see and the girls making the biggest progress are just finding what works and just running with it. As you get stronger, increase energy demands, increase your food, and just keep rinse and repeating that process. But anyway, guys, that's been the push-up. You know, I wanted to give you a little bit of an insight as to how we got into the position we're in now. Have I built enough tissue to be competitive in Classic? Who knows? I can only say, yes, I have. When it comes down to it, we'll find out on show day. You know, in my head, I could go all the way this year, and I'll talk to you a little bit in the next video about what our whole goal is here. Or I could not even get looked at. Stay on the edge. I don't know, this is my first time in Classic, but all I know is that I'm gonna leave no stone unturned. And as I said, I look forward to bringing you along on this journey and just being open and honest with you guys and just taking you through every single step. So as always, if you've enjoyed the video, I made it this far without stumbling. I'm just starting to stumble, so it's time to finish. If you've enjoyed the video, guys, give me a thumbs up. Any questions, please feel free to drop them in the comments box below and I will always get back to them. I look forward to bringing you episode 2. That's all for now, guys. Have a good evening.